Well, now, by God's grace coming 2025, I'm seeing a lot of money coming up. By the way, I'm making this video of 2024 at around October. Now, the point is this, I see a lot of money coming up, and if you're not seeing it, then I think you have a problem. Oh, and the good thing is that you're in good Joseph channel and you're watching this video right now. These are the best side hustles to do during that particular period of 2025 henceforth. Let me tell you one secret before I share anything. And I want you to please pick a pen and paper and always remember this. Where lies a human weakness, there is a money to be made. Let me repeat that. Wherever lies a human weakness, there is money to be made. If you want to make money, just listen to what the majority of the people are saying. What are they complaining about? Okay, for instance, you hear people, for example, here in Kenya, our staple food is ugali, meaning it's a mixture made up of corn, flour, and what have you. Now, people complain much about that. You know, whenever the price goes up, they complain about it. Have you ever heard of Kenyans or anybody complaining in your country about the prices of the cars? Why? Because it's not touching many people. Then it means whenever lies the human weakness, guess what? There is a business to be made. Now, here we are. What are these best side hustles to actually do coming the year 2025? And I want you to prepare right now. This is Good Joseph in case you're watching me for the first time. And I upload such kind of videos each and every time. And I have to remind you, if you don't want to miss any of my good videos, go ahead and hit that subscription button. Make sure that you like this video. That's like appreciating me, okay? And make sure that you leave me a comment on the comment section. Okay, now, side hustle number one that you're supposed to understand, it is good, and I'm saying money coming in from that particular area. Would you imagine if I tell you right now, in that particular place that you live, would you imagine if I tell you that most of the people they are suffering? Yeah, people nowadays, they suffer from majorly two things, okay? Number one, they suffer from something called financial distress. Financial distress, okay? And the other thing, if you didn't know, by the way, people are suffering from what we call the mental health. Mental health. Mental health. Would you imagine if I tell you there is a lot of money to be made? And this mental health can be brought because of the finances, can be brought because of social life, can be brought because of variety things, okay? But people are suffering from this mental health. And some of them, by the way, did you know that nowadays people are more emotional? People actually fighting with somebody right now is so quite easier. Even men. You know, back then, before men, they actually fight, it took a lot of time. Nowadays, they're just fighting all over. That tells you there's something wrong in the society. Mental health is happening. And I'm telling you this, just the way I have this social media channel, I talk about finances and where to invest. If there will be one individual, and this is a hint I'm giving you guys, if there will be one individual who will grab the camera, have the confidence, maybe by qualification he's a psychologist or she's a psychologist, he's a counselor, he's a whatever, and talk about mental issues, the issues of marriages, how to live better, what to do, when to do it, how to go about it, I am telling you there is a plenty of money to be made out of this. The health and wellness. Health and wellness. Another thing, there is something called the preventive medicine. By the way, if you have your brothers or sisters or your children that are about to go to university and pursue a course, tell them to pursue something called preventive medicine. There is a lot of money to be made out of this. Preventive medicine. There are people whom I follow on social media. I can give them a shout out. There's somebody called the Health and Wellness Pot. That guy talks about what you're supposed to eat, when you're supposed to eat. I love to follow that individual. And I'm telling you, of course, he has some products that he sells. Absolutely. He also charges for consultation and what have you. And by the way, there is a social media, but you can even go to his social media account. It's called Health and Wellness Spot. Health and Wellness Spot. You can go check that YouTube channel. He's a Kenyan, by the way. He's a Kenyan. He's called Lewis, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Lewis. You can go tag him there and tell him, hey, God Joseph, send me here. Very good. He's a doctor by qualification. I'm a clinical doctor. Now, this area has a lot of money. Nowadays, people are suffering from diabetes. People are suffering from weight loss. They want to lose their weight. People are suffering from other non-communicable diseases, blood pressure, diabetes, and what have you. This guy is making quite of whatever. information that is out there. And if you can be there, talk about the mental health, the issues to do with, what we call it, how can you live, with people, social life, sociology, and all those kind. Because nowadays we have a lot of things that we call the biopsychosocial things and diseases and what have you. There is a lot of money to be made out there. Okay, fine. I know you'll be like, oh my goodness, Joseph, I'm not a doctor. How can I make that money? You don't have to be a doctor to get into the health and wellness. Anyway, about the health, sure, you have to have a medical background, but when it comes to the mental health and issues and what have you, at least to be a psychologist. Even teachers, they did psychology. Even me myself, I did psychology back when I was in campus. By the way, I have a medical background. For those who don't know, I have my first degree. I'm actually a medical research officer by profession. That's my first degree that I did on university. Okay, now the issue is this. So I did psychology. Now what happens is that there is a lot of money to be made on this, what we call the health and wellness, or health and wellness. There is a lot of money to be made out of that. Now, let's say you don't have those qualifications. There is another area called the e-commerce. The e-commerce, what does it mean? Is electronic commerce. It's whereby the technology meets the commerce. Commerce is business, selling and buying. That is where the technology meeting it. By the way, I told you people, if you do not have a lot of money to start a business somewhere, you don't have to go ahead and have all that. I don't know what no, you can simply go rent. For example, there's a product I bought, and I told you guys on my last video, I bought it from somebody who had just actually has just rented a shelf somewhere in town. You just rent that shelf, find a product that you can sell. You can decide be selling these watches, you can decide be selling this AB shutter, this pen, whatever it can be. Just a simple thing. And of course, you have that particular thing. Nowadays, you can even pay TikTok as little as 300 Kenyan shilling, and you popularize your product. You can pay as little as 300,000, 300 Kenyan shilling. That's like $3 or $4 or $5, and pay that particular TikTok, and they actually popularize your particular thing out there. So you can because people say, I don't have the courage to talk before people. You don't have to, like constantly and mind who will watch and how will be able to popularize your thing. No, you can actually sponsor that thing on TikTok and be able to show it out there. You can do so on Google Ads. You can do so on Facebook, that is on the Meta, and you can be able to put your product out there, and you can. I have bought a lot of things like the GB equipments I've actually bought on the internet and what have you. So you can actually go ahead and do that particular thing and be able to make some cash. That's what we call the e-commerce. Are we together? The e-commerce on this sense simply means you having that online presence where you're selling your products. Gone are the days when people used to do the walk-ins and what have you. You can simply have yourself an e-commerce website if you have in a position to. And if you do not have an e-commerce website, then you can simply go out there and sell from the companies that are already established. For example, in Kenya, I don't know whether you can actually sell on Jumia. We have our own Amazon here. I don't know what you have, guys, in your country. Go check out that particular thing that you have in your country. You can actually, if you're in the US, you can sell on the Amazon, Alibaba, whatever, in other places, AliExpress, and what have you. We have a variety of them. Here in Kenya, if you're watching me, we have the Jumia with us, okay? You can actually sell on Jumia and you can be able to make some cash. I think I made this video like quite of years ago, like a 2 or 3 or something, about how you can actually make some cash using or doing what we call sell on Jumia. Okay, that is exactly what you can be able to do. Now, the other thing that I want to ask you is very simple, okay? Before I even continue, what is exactly your personality? Are you this guy who is a talkative person? Are you this reserved, or we call them the introverts? Because also your personality determines and matters where and how you can be able, or where you can actually channel your energy. Because you can talk about talking to people, but yeah, you may not have that courage, you may not have that ability to go and talk to people. Maybe you have poor communication skills. Maybe you're this kind of an individual, you're reserved, you always love to have your time. Then if you have to have your time, you don't want to talk to people, you don't want to appear before a camera, then you can go ahead and major on things like web designing, softwares and what have you, the AI, artificial intelligence, and what kind of that. Then you can be able to dwell towards that particular thing, okay? Or blockchain technology. Now, the other area that you can actually go ahead and check out in, just look at what the young guys are doing, because sometimes the young guys, not even sometimes, if you want to look the future of any given nation, look at what the young people are behaving. What are they majoring on? What are they doing? What are they concentrating on? Where are they heading? Because those young guys are the people who will have kids in the future. And what they know, that's what they will give their kids. Because, for example, I am a millennium. What I have is basically what I got from my baby boomers' parents. That's what I got. from them. Now, what I'm having right now as a millennial, of course, I'm learning new things. Of course, I'm going to share that what I got from my parents, and of course, that what I've gathered by myself. If you look at the young guys, nowadays, most of them, even if you speak the language of saving, they don't want to hear the language of saving. I have a pastor whom I follow. I would never mention his name. He says that the generation that we have right now, they are scatters. There are people who never speak the language of putting things together. They're just cutters. You told them saving? No. In Kenya, they save YOLO, you live only once. I don't know, you save ukufe, meaning that if you save your money and then you die or something also. They have that kind of a mentality. But of course, what they are doing, they're spending on how they look. They're spending on the gaming, the esports. They're spending on things to do with, having fun and what have you. So if you want to make some extra cash on the side hustles by 2025, then establish yourself by having things like you can buy some gaming console. They don't really cost much if you can actually afford them. For instance, if you gotta grab yourself like a PS4 in Kenya, right now will go around 25 to 30,000. Grab yourself a good telly, and of course, well, I know you may argue from the point of we are on PS5. Indeed, you can do so if you have like 70 or 80,000 to spare for you to purchase that gaming console and then establish that business. Another thing that I have actually realized that can actually make some good cash as far as the businesses are concerned on this matter is a gaming called the pool table. Pool tabling is whereby you buy maybe ladies may find it hard to understand what I'm talking about, but not all of them. Snooker or pool table depends with your English. This is where people show up to the place. Ladies, have you ever met somebody doing some with a stick and then they are hitting some round balls on top of something like a table or something of sort? That is exactly what I'm talking about, okay? I've described it in a weird way, but that is exactly what I'm talking about. So that is gaming, is whereby you're bringing people together, these young guys together, you have your gaming console somewhere, then you can actually be able to make some cash out of that specific thing. It's actually working out, it is good and it's great, and I would highly recommend that you go ahead and figure out that and be able to invest it as your side hustle coming next year, that is 2025. The other thing that you can actually get yourself into that can actually be a very good side hustle is something called EdTech or education technology. EdTech here simply means is where you bring the education with technology. By the way, so far where I am right now, how many times have I actually mentioned the word technology? In the EdTech, I've mentioned technology. The e-learning people, whatever, the gaming and e-sport, I've actually mentioned e-commerce. I've actually mentioned something to do with creation of content and whatever. You see, 2025, if the technology will leave you behind, and if you have a business that does not have an online presence, you're having yourself a bad time. Why? Because we are in the era whereby we have to have an online presence. We have to have, that, what do you call, e-commerce kind of a thing. Okay, so when we talk about ed technology, is where you share that information, is when you can have what we call the e-learning platform, and you can teach anything. There are people who are very good at cooking, and by the way, you don't have to have the degrees, the diplomas and papers and what have you. I don't know why I think education came to disorient our mind. There's something that you have and you can do it in effortlessly because you are good at it. For instance, you can talk about chef. You don't have to have a degree, chef. You don't have to be is it the, what do we call this guy, this Hell's Kitchen guy, this very popular guy, is it Ramsay or something? I don't know. No, the point is this: you can even talk about cooking the traditional foods. All right. Yeah, there's a lady whom I follow from Kenya, and she dwells much on from the remote places whereby she shows how to farm, how to do this and do all those kind of things. By the way, how many of you have ever gone to YouTube and find this? I don't think they're Indonesian or Malaysian or these guys from sort of, is it Southern Asian or something countries, and then they are showing you how they go to a farm, how they get their fruits, how they do that. And those videos, they have actually millions and millions of views. And of course, that means money. So anyway, the point here is you can actually teach people something. You are very good at communication skills. You can tell people how to do good communication skills. You are good at finances, like good Joseph. You can do that. You're good at something like, you know how to lose weight and something of sort. You are very good at kids. You have your kids. You can actually teach people how to handle the teenagers. You are very good at cooking. You can share the recipes and what have you, how you actually cook and what have you. Of course, that attracts views and what have you. So there is a lot. Everyone has something that they can teach people on this e-learning e-learning platform and you can actually teach. And the easiest e-learning platform you can actually have yourself by tomorrow morning is a good TikTok. You're good to go. Or your Facebook Reels, you are good to go. Or even shorts on the, this platform called Great YouTube. You can actually show something that people can actually learn from. And that is exactly how you make yourself popular out there and advertise your skills. And of course, you can charge out of that skills that you have. And that is exactly how you can actually get yourself a side hustle that you're earning something out of it. Is that simple? By the way, guess what? I know some of you think like, oh my goodness, I just show up to that particular app, I do, la, 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 and then everything falls into place. That's the mentality of young people. Everything and anything requires time and dedication and consistency for you to achieve that particular thing that you're looking forward into getting. That's good, Joseph, by the way. If you have any question, put it on the comment section. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.